Hey guys, it's Sarah, and as promised, I'm here to talk to you about buying mountaineering boots. I know in our group that's been a big topic of discussion. A lot of you are headed out on trips, a couple of you are going to Rainier, and you need a boot or something to attach your crampons to. And of course we know you can't just put crampons on any hiking boot. You need something super stiff, super thick, and that usually means, well, that almost always means a mountaineering boot. So I totally feel your pain when it comes to shopping for these things. Finding the right mountaineering boot can be such a pain in the ass. They are wicked uncomfortable. They don't unfortunately have a lot of options. Finding stores that carry a good selection can just be impossible. And then on top of that, they cost so much money. So even when you find the perfect one, you're like, oh, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. No way. No way. I'm just gonna climb with no crampons or something. But yeah, I'm gonna just give you a couple of tips that have helped me I'll tell you my story. I've bought 2 pairs of mountaineering boots in the past few years, and my first one was just for climbing here in Colorado. I got a little pair of single La Sportiva Nepal Evo GTX, which is a very, very common one. Half the people I know that have mountaineering single boots have this particular boot. It's just a leather boot. Little bit of insulation inside, lace up, it's very nice. And then when I went to Bolivia, I actually climbed Mount Rainier in my Nepal Evos. A couple of people are asking, you know, what's appropriate for Rainier. I'll get to that in a minute, whether I really think singles or doubles for Rainier, but in a pinch, mine did go up Rainier, and I still do have all of my toes. And then the second pair I bought, I really struggled when I was going to Bolivia. I didn't want to spend like $700 on doubles. I actually tried to buy over boots for my single boots, thinking that might be warm enough, and that might be an option for some people. I'll mention more about over boots at the end, but in my case, they didn't really stick with my crampons and my mountaineering boots. The crampons just kept falling off. So I ended up buying a La Sportiva G2, which is a really awesome boot. I'll talk a little bit about gear discounts. I was able to get a significant discount on it, and it's actually been super comfortable, super awesome. I actually wear it all the time, more than I thought I would, and it's a little bit more comfortable even than my single boots. So a couple of, I totally feel your pain if you're trying to buy boots. It's just a giant pain, and let me give you a couple of tips that I learned through this whole process to make it a little bit easier. Why am I so white? I'm gonna stand back a little. It's better. So first things first, single or double boots is a big question. These things are really expensive. You're probably thinking, I just want to buy 1 pair of them. And the truth is, if you do a lot of mountaineering, you'll probably end up with both, especially if you are going to do high altitude or even do things where there's a potential to get very, very cold, like Mount Rainier. But it's just the difference. If you're just going to be climbing in a place like, say, Colorado, California, maybe some easy stuff in the Pacific Northwest, you're probably going to be fine with a single. They are also great for ice climbing. If you just want to go out to the ice park or the local crag and get a couple runs of ice climbing in. They're great for couloir climbs if you're just going to be out for 1 day for a few hours climbing up some snow. Those are all really good uses for single boots, and like I said, that's mostly what I use in Colorado. Anything with a multi-day kind of factor, like for example, you're going to climb Mount Rainier, and you're going to be camping overnight. You might be out there for a couple of days depending on your weather window, or anything that goes up to really high altitude. And by really high, I mean, people climb Kilimanjaro in hiking boots, but if you're going to be doing technical snow in places like South America, Mexico, places we're going to be out for a few days potentially, or up very high, like maybe above like 15, 16,000 feet, definitely think about doubles. Doubles are also great if you suffer from really cold feet. I have a good friend who has Raynaud syndrome, and she wears doubles even here in Colorado. She pretty much wears them for everything. So, and by double boot, I should go grab mine and show you. Hey, Kristen. And it was by double boot. I mean, there's actually an extra boot that goes inside a plastic shell. It's almost like, they used to look like ski boots, double boots did. Now they kind of look more like regular boots, but if you feel them, there's plastic, hardness, and then inside there's a soft insulated boot that really keeps your foot extra warm. So doubles, good in some situations. For Mount Rainier, I put a post up, but I'll reiterate here, I really think they're good. I did climb in my singles, but I think I got lucky. We were on a warm day, and it can get very, very, very cold up there, especially when the top of the mountain's in clouds. And even on a warm day, I was cold when we got up to climb in the middle of the night. So double boots for Mount Rainier, if you can possibly swing it. Renting them is also an option sometimes if you go with a guide, which kind of brings me to my next tip. Should you buy or rent? If you're in a situation maybe where you're going to climb a mountain with an outfitter, sometimes you have the option to rent boots, and sometimes, especially if you're just going to do like maybe one big mountaineering trip a year, if you're not sure if you really love the sport and this is just kind of trying it out, renting might be a good option for you. These things cost like, even the singles cost like, cheap singles cost like $300. So it is a significant investment. And I mean, I know like you're probably like me, we like to go and spend our money on traveling and climbing and not on one pair of boots that costs as much as a plane ticket. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, so it kind of depends a bit on your future plans. Like, are you going to be doing a lot of climbing? Do you think you'll use these things? Do you think you'll go on to bigger and better trips? If so, it might be cost efficient to actually buy your own. Your own are going to tend to be more comfortable. You'll have some time to really dial them in, see what socks work with them, see if you have needs with insoles or inserts. Another thing related to that, I know, I think Ronnie in our group was talking about having some trouble with her feet, and she was thinking about getting some inserts. I think that's another really good case for buying your own boots. If you have any kind of just strange fit issues that you might need to work out, you're gonna be so much more comfortable if you just have your own boots for a month or two and some time to just kind of work with that and dial in the fit and what works for you. Also, training in your boots. It's really hard to break in mountaineering boots. Like, some people say they break in after 50 miles or so. I think they don't ever break in. But what you can do is kind of break your feet in. If you hike in your mountaineering boots, your own boots, if you have them, then, you'll get calluses on the parts that, might be a little bit more sensitive or rubbing otherwise, and you won't have to deal with that on the mountain. You'll already probably be a bit more comfortable. And then, yeah, so buying or renting, some considerations for you. I have such squirrel brain. I have to use notes, so excuse me a moment. Where to buy them? I know Ronnie brought this up. It's so hard to find boots outside of some of the mountain states. Even here in the mountain states, if it makes you feel better, like we go to our REI. REI is honestly not the best gauge of anything with mountaineering. They tend to be very basic, but yeah, even here we just have at REI 2 models of mountaineering boots. So like you are probably going to have to do, we have to go to a specialty mountaineering store. There's really only 2 or 3 that are really good in the Denver Boulder area. If you are in the east, it might be worth having a look at stores that specialize in things like ice climbing. People do ice climb quite a bit in the Northeast. If you're in the southern states or right in the middle, definitely have a look and see if you can find a store. There's a couple reasons I'll go into in a minute why it really just makes sense, if you possibly can, to try these things on in person. And if you really can't find a store, I think there's probably some places like Alabama, Mississippi, Hawaii, where there genuinely might not be a retailer selling mountaineering boots. If you're possibly going on vacation and you're going to be like in a state like Colorado or California where it would be more likely to find something, it might be worth planning a day to go and try on boots at a local store and just make notes of the models that fit, the sizes that fit, and then even if you do end up ordering them online, you'll know exactly what to order. So that's, and that might be an option for some of you. If that's absolutely not an option, online, you can now get mountaineering boots from a number of retailers, I would look very closely before you start ordering things at the return policy. Make sure that's not going to be, make sure that you could order a couple of pairs and then return the ones you don't want without a lot of hassle or cost. I know I've had good luck. I haven't done boots, but I've had good luck with backcountry.com, and I think there's a few others out there. But yeah, just check the return policy. And then, so you're gonna order a couple models of boots, and let me give you some shopping tips. That's my final thing here. First of all, pretty much when it comes to mountaineering boots, most of them are going to be unisex. I think La Sportiva makes a couple women's models, but especially once you start getting up into doubles, men's and women's, really no difference. They make a nice range of sizes, so just pick something that is pretty close to your size. Another note, they mostly do European sizes. So I'm like a 8.5 in American, but I'm like a 41 in European. And probably European sizes are smaller than American sizes. The difference is less. So order a couple of models so that or a couple of sizes of each model so that you can kind of dial in which size is going to be best for you. This is also true when you're trying boots on at the store. Just be like, hey, shoe person, bring me 40, 41, whatever. Get a couple of sizes and really dial in what fits. Whenever you're trying on mountaineering boots, it is really important that you not have any like pressure or parts that are pushing on your foot. That's going to impede circulation. It's going to make your foot cold. And to really know that, it's really important that you try these on with the socks you're going to be wearing with them. So in most cases, that's going to be a mountaineering weight wool sock. So really, really thick. You look online, Google them if you're not sure what that is. There's actually a sock that is even thicker than a normal hiking sock that you typically wear with mountaineering boots. And that means that your mountaineering boot size is going to be bigger. Like probably an 8.5 in European is actually really a 40, but my boots are a 41. They're one size bigger than you would expect to make room for that big fat sock. And if you are really prone to cold, you might want to try to put a toe warmer inside as well and just make sure that it fits well and that's not squeezing your toe. It'll actually make your toe colder if there's not enough room for the toe warmer to sit in there comfortably. So anything you're going to have on your feet on the mountain, have on your feet while you're trying on your boot. And try on a couple different sizes, try on a couple different models, walk around. If you have the option to do stairs or treadmills or a little incline, do it. And then, make your pick. And one more tip, I think this is really important. Before you actually take your boots outside and get to the point where you can't return them, play with them on the treadmill for a while. Put the treadmill on an incline, walk in your boots and your mountaineering socks. Make sure you're not getting any, it's okay for them to be a little uncomfortable. Your feet will adjust, but make sure you're not getting any crazy blisters or rubs or potential fit problems that are really going to be painful for you on the mountains. So anyway, those are my tips for trying on mountaineering boots, finding the right mountaineering boots for you. I hope they were helpful. If you have questions, feel free to drop them below this video. I'll hang out for just a minute and see if we have any questions. In the meantime, you can look at my empty apartment. I have no furniture, but I do have a cat, you can see, hanging out back here. Oh, and that's part of my ceiling laying on the floor. They've been doing just crazy construction in here. So, I don't know. It's been, if you follow my personal Facebook page, it's been quite a week or two around here. So I don't see any questions. So, I'm going to sign off and just say good luck. If you do have questions about boots, feel free to ask in the group. We have a lot of really knowledgeable people that can help you out. This is true for hiking boots, and it doesn't have to be mountaineering boots or any other equipment that you are shopping for right now. And yeah, have a wonderful evening. I will talk to you guys soon.